Today we're going to talk about AI, DeepSeek AI, and how it changed the modern discussion. We're going to talk about butter as a beautiful product, and butter as a nice Japanese book. And we're also going to talk about humans' feelings and our basic desires of kindness, love, and just being cared for. AI, everyone is talking about it, and it's absolutely fine. In the beginning, people were talking about AI changing the whole world, occupying everything everywhere, doing our jobs. Yes, we would be useless in this world and all that stuff. And it makes sense. Yes, it makes sense. Software engineers, we don't need them. Marketing managers, ChatGPT can make you a beautiful marketing strategy. Yeah, we were talking about all that stuff. It seems like after a certain period of time, people stopped talking about AI that much. But well, welcome DeepSeek. DeepSeek AI changed the discussion recently because now people are talking about it again. And if before we were talking that AI training this kind of model would devour lots of energy and will be something that is actually very resource consuming, well, now we are talking about what those people were doing, what they were doing with those huge sums of money, with those huge resources, because China was able to develop something using so much less of everything, and they say it's performing very well. I still didn't download it on the App Store. Sorry guys, I will do that much later. People are saying DeepSeek AI is very useful and definitely on the same level as ChatGPT, Gemini AI, and all that stuff. Thanks to this, the stocks plummeted for some huge giants, and well, we'll see what's gonna happen. But recently I was thinking, why not just go on Weibo and see all the latest trends? And well, one of the trends is DeepSeek AI fortune telling. So many people are using DeepSeek AI for fortune telling. They are asking DeepSeek AI to predict which major they have to choose while studying, which career they should choose, where should they live. For example, one girl asked DeepSeek AI about what she should do because she wants to succeed in this marketing career for the auto industry. And you know what? The AI told her in which area she should hang out more, in the area of Beijing, very famous one by the way. And some of the people say that DeepSeek AI is actually very good at choosing the right career trajectory or life trajectory for you. Well, it kind of makes sense, especially if you tell your whole autobiography to the AI. It will be able to tell you the clear blueprint what you have to do. I don't think that's a huge task for AI, but what's going to be next? Should we do astrology? What are we learning from this? We are learning that don't give up, don't ever give up. Use the resources you have. Very often the resources you have are already actually enough to succeed or to do something to achieve what you want in life. It just sometimes we tend to believe that we need more without realizing the gems that are already in front of us. Because let's look at China before. China was known for being able to replicate things, for copying things, like being this copycat. But come on, that's the thing of the past now. Recently, when the sanctions were imposed on those microchips and anything related to technology by the United States of America, China was able to produce a phone that mesmerized all the tech giants who believed that it was impossible to produce something without those parts that were actually sanctioned. But you know what? Huawei did it. Huawei impressed and produced something worth mentioning. And now we are looking at DeepSeek AI. US was hoping that microchips would be produced in US. You know what? China was able to use the resources it had to study all the previous materials, and DeepSeek AI appeared. Of course, there are still many questions. Big companies are trying to understand how this happened, if it was fairly made, if none of the other resources were used. There are many questions, but the fact is the fact. We have something that shattered the world and shattered the order that have been there for a while. And that's kind of exciting. Let's see how it's gonna go. Since we're talking about this, I recently watched an overview of the Atomic Habits by a Ukrainian marketing manager who decided to make his vlog, telling about different books he was reading and trying to sum them up. Apparently everyone knows about Atomic Habits. It's like one of the most popular books right now these days. All the book charts are talking about it, but I just like this moment that there would always be a valley of frustration, and this valley may be very long, and only when you know who you are, when you know what you want, when you realize that you are ready to put in enough effort, and no matter what's gonna happen, no matter how much effort you're gonna put, this is your identity. You are ready to do it till the end of your life. You will be able to walk over this valley of frustration because it can be very long, it can be very demotivating, it can be very frustrating, but it's actually inevitable. It's just the lens may differ, but only when you understand who you are, only when you clearly know your goal, you will be able to do okay in this valley and finally get to the valley of happiness. So recently I came across this book and it's called Butter. And imagine, it actually talks about butter. It talks about inability to find butter in stores because turns out there was a shortage of butter and dairy products at the time because cows got a certain disease. And I'm sorry, but who doesn't like Japanese sponge cake? And even though the story started with butter, it tells us the story about a crime where a woman was attracting men and then suddenly killing them, and it happened to many of them. This is interesting because she wasn't actually the beauty standard of that Japanese society. She wasn't extremely outstanding, but somehow she managed to do that. And then here we see when Japanese society starts thinking. Sometimes these misogynistic ideas, sexist ideas, they don't understand how she was able to do that. But she was a great cook. She studied in a French school. She was doing these Michelin level meals that really impressed everyone. And she brought something more. This is what the books tell us about. She was bringing love to people. She was bringing kindness. Who doesn't want to have this nice, beautiful meal cooked for you just after work when you are very tired and all you crave is just warmth and coziness of home? And that's what she was able to give those people. And the 21st century society, especially in developed countries, that sometimes we lack a lot, we have this loneliness, this big sickness that is actually killing us because we are still human beings. It's a basic human need to be loved, to talk to others, to be surrounded by people. And we know in Japanese society it's extremely exacerbated because of the pressures, because of the lifestyle. People really lack those basic needs. What I love most about this book is the ability to tell us the deeper topics by telling about something we do on a daily basis. We eat, we see on a daily basis. And that's the beauty of Japanese, I think, literature in general. This sensuality, this ability to talk about these deeper things, these feelings, because sometimes we do forget about them. But it reminds us that sometimes it's nice to just go to a cafe, sit down and observe. Not to be a stalker, just look around, just try to understand what people are thinking, what they are doing, why they are doing this. To understand the surroundings and why it is the way it is.
And